In today's age and time, people seek to be part of a community or communities they can identify with. Helping people find their connect is Amealio, a startup that seeks to transform cities into curated microcosms of open, hyper-local communities. It is helping expand social horizon through the power of food and AI. Hello and welcome to this episode of Founder Talk on MyStartupTv, a dedicated media channel for startups and entrepreneurs. I'm MajorSunilShetty. Joining us is Shaker Dixit, who's the founder and CEO of Amealio. He is a former Big Four senior executive, a foodie, and whose company has declared among the Google top 3. Welcome, Shaker. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Major Ji. So thank you for inviting me for this pleasantry talk. Thank you very much.
I'm very curious to, or intrigued to know what is the connection between food and AI.
Food and AI, I mean, see, the AI is all over us, right? It's dawning on us, and there's not if or when, and how are we adapting to the AI. And we feel like food is something that's been sustaining us for ages. And the power of AI can transform our experiences through personalization and by simplifying choices. There are great benefits that we can reap through AI, and that's what we'll be unleashing in the power of technology in a couple of months.
Food and AI, and then your tagline, how does that fit into each other, as in building communities who love of food, right? That's what your tagline is all about. So firstly, how far have you come on a scale of 1 to 10, and how are you integrating all these things together?
Certainly, I mean, I would say that we are probably at the number 6, right? Unleashing the power of community and food with AI and creating that surprise and happiness with many. But I would like to share a bit of a backdrop story on how we got motivated in the first place. So this starts around last year when I moved to Pune, right around July of last year. I live in a bustling township of 10,000 flats, and yet I realized that I know only 10 people in the community, an entire 50 people in the city, vibrant city like Pune. And I was thinking for myself, like despite the social networks like Facebook, which have near become entertainments and engagement these days, or WhatsApp, which is completely closed communities, you can only join if somebody invites you. I'm not really able to explore my social horizon beyond what these networks are giving me, and they're hindering my exposure. And there's so much that city like Pune or Hyderabad has to offer for someone like me, and understand and meet up with people. And I said, what if we build hyper-local communities that is open for you to explore, saying what are the groups, and they are curated by your locale or different interests, and you're able to open to go and join those communities, meet up with some new set of people what city has to offer. And what if you take that and glue it up with something that is as strong as food? For thousands of years, the communities were smaller, festivities were the way of life, and food has always been the conduit or
as a central part of it.
As a central part of it. So I said, while we are entertaining and building these communities, right, we wanted to foster and bring them together, create meaningful connection over food. And that's when we say that when two people meet, right, imagine those last 5 instances or encounters you had, food, drink or coffee has been part of that conversation. And that's how we wanted to bring that excitement of food in forming better communities, helping people and expand their social horizon. And when it comes to AI, and I would say food is something that is unique for each one. And one size fits all is not like t-shirt that food goes, and that's how most of the platforms as well as industries have evolved into saying mass marketing or buffet style approach. Whereas food is so much that is unique for each taste. So that is how through our platform we learn your taste behaviors, your preferences, your dietary restrictions, and make sure that each time you dine out, those things are taken not only in simplifying the choices that you get each time you go out, but also take those preferences and digitally send it to the kitchens through the power of partnership that we have done with POS.
So in today's world of Zomato and Swiggy, where does Amealio fit in?
I would respond that into 3 parts. See, one, when you talk about food, just some statistics I'll try to share. There are, the Indian market itself, there's 4 billion people out there. The more population increasing, food and their spend on food is also increasing exponentially, right? That's one fact. The second, today the total Indian food spend as per NRAI is roughly around 4.78 lakh crore rupees, of which only 5% of that been put into a marketplace, still leaving so much of food that is digitized through paid through Paytm or POS, but not aggregated through marketplace. That's the second space. The third, our element, I just want to state the facts and then get into the differentiation. And third element is, when you look at food and eating out, or dining in, there's so many different ways of engagement we get in. Only delivery has been one part of the problem that's been solved, leaving the opportunity for us to solve many other ways of interacting with food that we have on a daily basis, and simplifying the journey and give you a better control, right? So these are statements of facts that I want to make sure we bring in. So from a differentiation perspective, I use a simple phrase. I would like to say that here. See, Swiggy and Swiggy and Zomato, with respectfully, they deliver food. For us, the tagline has been delivering happiness with food. I think that's where first thing we bring into the equation is, helping you meet more people within your own cities and neighborhood, right? So that way, with food you have joy of not only meeting up with your own set of people you hang out with, but also possibly meet up with new set of people and continue to explore and have that joy and happiness with food, right? The second, part is really allowing you to have simplified choices. An example I would cite, if you are planning to go out for an anniversary with your wife, or a birthday for your kid, right? Rather than going out to the same old place and having the same old thing, there is an opportunity for us to create a curated experiences, which is what we have launched in Pune, and we are learning through experiments that is what is the need of the hour. That people are willing to spend money, but they are not having those experiences, and that is the second differentiation we bring to the market. First is social communion, spreading joy with food. Second is building and having experiences of eating out and having those elements. And third is our entire model has been built in such a way that we are able to create this value and happiness through the power of partnership and AI, right?
So when you say talk about partnership, could you elaborate upon that as to what kind of partnership are you building?
So a couple of examples I would like to bring in. So we are already live. Dunzo, which is one of the popular delivery partner, is we have done a pilot with them in Pune. So without putting our boots on the ground, we are able to deliver food and happiness to your own comfort of space of home or outside, right? So with this partnership, we are able to exactly do what anybody else did much better.
So yes, also your cost comes down there.
Certainly.
Yeah.
On the second partnership, we are partnered with some of the popular POS systems, which gives us access to the market scale of customers. But at the same time, all those personalization that we talked about through the power of AI and choices, we are able to take those instructions directly to the kitchen so that the people cook the food the way you wanted, and it becomes an experience of your own each time, right? That's the second set of partnership with POS, because they are better in that space, right? And the third one is the ONDC. I don't know if you have heard of ONDC, but that's the next biggest revolution or tide that's going to be seen or known by the industry from next year on. So what UPI did for wallets, if you know, the time before, each time you had to fill in wallet and Paytm, PhonePe, and there was no interoperability. So UPI solved that interoperability, and you see wider adoption across everybody here. Cash nahi mujhe UPI karo, right? So the same thing the ONDC is doing with the democratization of the e-commerce, right? And our philosophy from day one has always been use the right mind for the right purpose. That's how we wanted to use the leverage of Dunzo being the best delivery network, or maybe there are 100 others that we are able to use through ONDC and have the delivery catered at your convenience. Bring in restaurants of your choice rather than us going restaurant by restaurant trying to manage the supply. So through the power of partnership and the ONDC, we are able to bring any restaurant and make that choice available to you. And this is how we are leveraging partnership and the power of AI in bringing personalization and experience along with people.
What next for you? I mean, you have been, top 3 in Google. You got some funding from them. You want to talk about that a bit, and also you're also part of the India Startup Festival, the first edition, where you're among the top 10. So if you can just share about your experience there and what next for your startup.
So journey began with us winning the award of top 10 in ISF last year, right around the same time, and that was the biggest accolade. With that, despite the funding winter we all know about, we are blessed to have a good support of mentors and access to people. I think that's what I'm realizing more. Despite the 2 decades of corporate consulting and CXO experience, it is always about learning and having the right people around you to walk along the journey. And as an entrepreneur, that's my biggest learning I've taken from here. And through the ISF network, I've met a lot of great mentors. We have raised some funding through, ISF angels as well as other angel groups in the early part of the year. And then that also paved the path to, get into the Google cohort. We have been fortunate to be top 30 in Asia Pacific and ANZ, which is an accolade that was given only to 3 companies in India, and we were one of them. and we also received a 200K in investment from Google. That's a sense of excitement, and from ever since that propelled our trajectory. And now in the second edition of ISF, we volunteered, or we were part of the core group in organizing the event and so on. Because I'm a firm believer of giving back in a way, so that way it becomes more sustainable. Right? While I've received a blessing in mentorship disguise, and we're still on our journey of figuring out how to go to the next, we have volunteered and be part of the core organizing team of the ISF 23, which has seen tremendous success with 10,000 startups coming in, and definitely helping a couple of other founders and startups in a similar set of journey who were probably a year earlier. So it's been in part of that ISF. And certainly with Google, we've been blessed to not only get their support on technology, we have assigned mentors from them who are helping us day in and out. We're also getting access and access to their investment network. I mean, Google, right? It's all over place, and certainly we feel very positive on, once we get it to from 6 to 7, which is going to happen within this year, it's going to unleash a completely new era that people have not seen, especially hyper-local social networking, meeting more people to what city has to offer. It's going to disrupt two spaces. One is how food is taken in, not just as a commodity to consume, but as an experience to meet along with people. And the social networking, which has been sheer entertainment, it really creates some meaningful connections and forge some conversations over it.
And what next?
So next we have a couple of things on the plan, but I would like to share a few. One, despite us building the open network, which we are able to explore, curated based on the entire city getting transformed into microcosms, we are also looking to enable the power of food and AI onto existing communities rather than unrooting from them. For example, we'll be creating some options or exposing these options on top of existing WhatsApps and Telegrams, so that people who are conversing or communicating over those networks are able to use the choices and experiences that we built through our platform.
And ease of access, right?
Ease of access. I think that's the first point I keep bringing in, that today in the world, there are too many choices confusing us. Simplification choice is one of the biggest favor we can do for ourselves, right, through means of technology, and that is one thing that we'll be looking into. And second is certainly, while we feel the pain of social exposure being constricted in the urban cities, such pain exists not only just in India but also many other countries which are much more the social fragmentation much more widespread. So we see this as an opportunity of building something great in India and taking it across to places, and to the US, Dubai, and I've lived there in places quite developed and sprawling countries. But when you look at social psyche or how people come together, it's a lot of opportunity for us to bring a platform like this and create that community and communion over food.
And food, having traveled myself a bit, in different parts of the world, food is a common language, right? People speak, they get together, they form community around food. So which is, makes a lot of sense in what you're doing. What has been the experience of your users or the people who use Amealio today?
Certainly, I mean, see, from the restaurant, we are actually getting a lot of patronage. Today we have 50 restaurants. We have just limited to experiment with few, but we have another 250 lining up to be on board. So that shows us that we are doing something that they are loving or liking. And from a user perspective, so far what we have done and shown to the world is we can do things much better, 10x better than what our predecessors have been doing. And with the community angle coming up, and we see a lot of excitement, more importantly, because when we began this journey, we did an extensive interview with around 500 people of different age group, different strata, and see, hey, this is our concept. If I give you the opportunity of open networking within the city, is that something exciting? And that's how we have learned through the experience and start building the product and the platform, right? That's the one segue that we've seen that in Pune. But over and beyond, it just seems to be a very exciting time, in many facets. While we are getting out of the funding winter, things are looking spring on a different angle. The whole India is going through a big transformation with startups. I mean, all of us have known about it. I mean, there's nothing new that I'm sharing here, but I'm just reiterating or saying, preaching to the choir. So definitely we are at the right time and space, I believe, and we have got a right support in terms of investors and the mentors, and definitely we just need to cross the bridge. That's going to be happening within the next 3 to 6 months, and that creates a new avenue and opportunity for us to take it and spread it across.
Shaker, thank you for being on our show, and we wish you all the very best, and you continue to build community with not just communities but community with the flavor, with the taste. Thank you.
No, absolutely. I think, see, other than food, we definitely want to bring more things to the communities as we go in, entertainment and content. But at this stage, the food being the strongest glue, we'll start off with it, giving something more and spread happiness with food. Food is our first motto.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure talking to you.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.